This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing. I'm joined by promoter Frank Warren here in London. Frank, it's always a pleasure to see you. Firstly, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Frank. Massive fight. Your man, Anthony-Yarde, gets his chance to become a world champion at the second attempt here. What does he have to do to overcome Artur Beterbiev on Saturday night?
He's got to use his brain, and he's got to use his boxing abilities, and he's got to use his power. And he's got to, be really, he's got to be 100% focused, which I think, I know he will be. But Beterbiev, as you said, he's the only champion who's got a perfect record. 18 fights, 18 KOs. He's an absolute monster. But I've got a lot of faith and a lot of belief in Anthony, as you well know. And I think he has the ability to pull this off. He's the underdog, I know, but never write anybody off.
Frank, one thing people have pointed to heading into this is they've made kind of a comparison to what Callum Johnson did against Beterbiev when he hurt him early. Is that how Anthony needs to approach his fight? He needs to hurt him early, but then make more of it if he was to do so?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to use, look, they both carry bombs. They're big punchers, the both of them. I don't expect it to go to distance. And I know that if Anthony does catch him, he'll go. But he's not got to go out there looking for the big punch. He's got to go out there and box. He's got to be sensible. He's got to get his hands up, get behind his jab, and really work hard. Keep his head movement going. Don't walk in straight lines. And just remember, he's 38. And I'm not saying sometimes people do become old overnight. And I'm not saying that is going to be the case. But he's got to force the pace in this fight. And if he forces the pace and fights at his pace, he's got a good chance.
Artur Beterbiev is widely considered as one of the best boxers in the world, Frank. If your man defeats him, he upsets the odds. Where does he then rank for you in the world of boxing?
Well, I think he beats him. I think it's up there in the top four of British upsets. Because I say how it is. He is an underdog. We understand that. He was an underdog when he went to Russia, and he nearly pulled it off. And he's got more experience of that since then. He's more mature. One thing about him, he's very fit. He's got a lot of self-belief, and I think he's a better boxer than people give him credit for.
One thing that people have given a lot of praise for, Frank, is that this isn't on pay-per-view. It was something which people were expecting to see when the fight was announced. How easy or difficult of a decision was that, Frank?
Well, it wasn't an easy decision. We're just trying to make things work, and it's very difficult to make this fight work. But it's where we are, and we've used a big chunk of our budget on this fight from our yearly budget with BT, because we do need to, obviously we need to give the subscribers some value, but there are fights that will be pay-per-view because that's the only way they work, the same as in America.
You've invested a great deal of time and, as you've said there, money into Anthony's career, Frank. How proud would you be to see him have his hand raised on Saturday night?
I'd be very proud. Whatever happens, I'm proud of him because he's a good lad. He's come from a very difficult background, limited amateur experience, and what he's achieved in his time as a pro, I take my hat off to him. He's a really nice guy to work with, the whole team of good people, and I just hope it works for him. And if it happens for him, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Frank, Moses Itauma, a special talent. Everybody's excited to see him step between the ropes for the first time. How excited are you?
I am. I'm the same as you. I'm excited, and I think he's going to be a great addition to the heavyweight scene, and he's very ambitious. His amateur pedigree is beyond reproach. We all know what he did last year. He won the Europeans, 4 knockouts in the competition, 4 fights, 4 knockouts, won the gold, and then he went on to win the World Championships, 2 knockouts, guys on the floor and whatever in the other fights, and won those as well. So he is an exceptional young talent. He's a precocious talent, and I'm honestly, I do believe he has the ability to go all the way. I'm excited, very excited about him, like I was excited about Daniel Dubois. And he's got more. He's not had a senior bout as an amateur. He's all been juniors, and this for him in this division, I think, is going to be, it's going to be a great ride.
2 years, Frank, to defeat Mike Tyson's record.
Look, anything can happen in boxing. If I feel that he's moving along how he feels he can move along, then that could happen. But time will tell. I'm not in a massive rush. It's got to be done right, and he's got to be done at the right time.
Karol Itauma, again, his brother, he started his career tremendously well. What are you hoping from him on Saturday? How do you see his 2023 playing out?
Well, look, he's got a tremendous amateur background as well, amateur pedigree. He was the world the youth gold Olympic medalist. He's done everything we've asked him, and I thought his last fight, he was really a mature boxing, controlled boxing, and done what he had to do. And I think he's going to have a big year this year. It's a step up for him. Very experienced guy he's going with, strong Argentine, but I really do think that this is going to be his year.
Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, Frank, what's the latest?
We're still working, and everybody's really, really optimistic about it, and hopefully we'll have some news soon.
Do you have a cut-off point in your own mind as to when you'd like that to be?
No, it'll go on sometime in the spring, definitely.
So we saw your comments that he's kind of dealing with the Saudis and the UK side of things as to where it lands. From what you're initially gathering, where are you more optimistic the fight lands? Out in Saudi Arabia or here in UK?
I can't even answer that yet because we're still working on it.
Confident that is the fight though that does take place next?
Yeah, they both want it, and the fullback position, if the worst comes to the very worst, then it'll be at Wembley for the two guys.
You say worst comes worst, it's not a bad fallback option.
That's not a bad option, and I would like to see it in England, but they're the top of their game. It's the 4 belts on the line. It's the equivalent of boxing's World Cup or boxing's Wimbledon finals or Olympics, and and the guys want to earn big money for it. And if the big money there's to be earned, they're no different than any other sportsman who've got a short career. They want to make it, so that's where we're at.
I don't know how much on social media you've been looking, Frank, but have you seen much of Alexander's recent antics?
Yeah, it's all good fun. I like it. I love it. They're a pair of characters, so I think we'll have some fun. Once we imagine the press conference, that's going to be good fun, no doubt about that.
Frank, one final one on Tyson. Francis Ngannou coming over, looking at a potential fight there. I know you're going to prioritise the Usyk fight, but down the line this year, former MMA star, heavyweight champion, stepping into rugby.
I haven't even thought about it at the moment.
That's fair enough, Frank. Tommy Fury, Jake Paul, again, the latest.
Yeah, well, that's. I hope that's going to be announced soon. Fingers crossed.
Seems to be Feb 25th in Saudi.
You'll know when it's announced.
And then just a couple other quick ones from me. Nathan Heaney, Flatley, the rematch announced.
Good fight, yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
One on the undercard everyone's looking forward to is Andrew Cain and Ionut Baluta. Brilliant fight.
Oh, that is a good fight, isn't it? And I think it's going to be, I want to be there for that. That's going to be something special.
And Frank, just on enemy territory, you had Ekow Essuman retain his British title this past weekend. Hats
off to him. I mean, he really done well. I've got to tell you something. I thought the commentary was too biased, but he came through that, and after the 6, he was pretty much in control of it. He's an excellent fighter, and I take my hat off to him. Well done.
Big plans for him now, I imagine, Frank. What do you want to see him do?
Yeah, I wanted to see him step up again this year, and I want to see him, involved in bigger fights and bigger titles.
And the final one, we saw Liam Smith stop Chris Eubank Jr in that main event. A stunning finish to that fight. What did you make of it?
Well, when I was asked before the fight what I thought would happen, and happened. I told everybody I couldn't see in a million years him beating Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr has always been considered to be a prospect, and he's 33 years of age, and Liam's been there and got all the, and I know he came up a weight, but he just showed how vulnerable he is, and took him apart, done a job, and that's it. And if they're talking about a rematch, I understand there's a rematch clause. So they're talking about, and I don't know what money he's supposed to be getting for it, Chris Eubank Jr. So God knows how they're going to make that pay. The fight they should make now, poking my nose in their business, they should make Liam against Conor Benn. That's the natural fight. If Conor Benn gets his licence back, that is, whenever he gets it back, if he's going to get it back. I don't know if he is or not, because that's taking forever.
Just on Junior then, do you think that he should consider moving up to 168 now, or step away from a sport? That's been the talking point recently.
Do I think who?
Eubank Jr, what next for him? I
think he should retire. Look, he's 33. That was a bad knockout. At the, Liam's been there. He's a great pro. He's been a very good fighter over the years, and he's done what he had to do. And he's 34 years of age. And the way I look at that, with Liam, you see the difference in class. He's never going to. Who's he going to beat? Who is Chris Eubank Jr going to beat at that weight? It's just not going to happen. It's a shame he got knocked out, but he got. That's boxing. That's what it is. And the best man definitely won on the night.
Final one, Frank. You mentioned him then, Conor Benn. What are your thoughts on everything that's been evolving around here?
I think the whole process is a disgrace. What happened to all the medicals that would be going to be sent to UCAD? Did they get them? I don't know. just all we want is clarity and know where we are. Because I don't want to be making a match for one of my boxers against another boxer who's tested positive and no one's been made aware of it. I'm endangering my boxer's life if I do that. So why, if someone is positive and and they've got some nonsense going on, they're trying to cover it up or hide it and not let the press know or anyone know about it, I don't want my fighter in that position. It's important that we have transparency.
All right, Frank, I know queue's forming and I imagine we're about to start shortly, so thank you for speaking to me in ID Boxing.
It's a pleasure.